digitization of Indian agriculture, role of startups for transforming Indian agriculture. As you all know that we have a unique situation in India that our economy is largely agrarian economy as 65% of the total population is rural people. The rural urban divide is so prominent that rural income per capita per year is around almost half of that their counterpart in the urban area who earn almost 1 lakh rupees, whereas the rural areas the income is 50,000, 40,000 rupees. However, although it is 65% of the population is rural, their contribution to the gross domestic product is only around 20% in 2021, and it was used to be around 18.8% in 21-22, as compared to 41% in 1960. That was before industrialization of the Indian economy. Now our maximum contribution comes from the industry as well as by the service sector in the GDP. And that's where the emphasis is on integrated rural development so that the rural population also should get the benefit of the development as such. As you all know, the market outlook India depends all on the performance of agriculture and mainly the performance of monsoon rains. If the monsoon is good, everyone is happy about it. If the monsoon is bad, even the industry service sector is not happy, as well as the agriculture sector is not happy. We are blessed with the largest arable land supporting 58% of population as the primary source of livelihood. And considering the predominance of agriculture in driving the Indian economy, rural transformation is a must to make Atmanirbhar Bharat. If we have to achieve the goal of self-sustaining India, then Atmanirbhar Bharat cannot be achieved without integrated development in the rural areas. As we know that digital agriculture is the way for scaling up for inclusive value chains in India, because as you know that the current extension system is not able to reach to almost 60% of the farmers. And the government machinery, that is the Department of Agriculture and KVs and all that, is to serve only 11% of the farmers in the country. And as you know, private agencies like companies, the media, and other farmers all contribute almost something like 40% or 45% of the farmers as such. In such a case, there is a large yield gap because farmers are not adopting the improved
Sorry to
management
interrupt you,
practices.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. So actually, it is not there in the slideshow mode. So for online meetings, sir, it will be difficult for participants to get, sir. So that's why you need to keep it in slideshow, sir.
it's
It is not there in slideshow mode, sir. I think it didn't click, sir. Actually, you went to that particular portion, but it didn't click for
Preeti,
that time.
if we have the time limit, but you don't have to force me to go on to the slide. Okay.
Oh, no problem, sir. Okay, then please continue.
Okay.
No
I
issue.
am continuing it.
Okay, yes, sir.
45 minutes. You tell me 45 minutes, I will stop.
No problem,
Okay.
sir. You can continue for up to 7 o'clock,
And
sir.
this
No
is not
issues.
the first time I am doing it for just agriculture. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So don't force me to do the things what you like. I will
Okay,
do the
sir.
way I like.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, sir.
Thank
Please
you.
tell me.
Thank you. And farmers receive only 1/3 of the price what the consumers pay. And the middlemen take almost 65 to 70% of the price what the consumers pay. And that's where there is a large disparity because of our large number of farmers, all farm holders. Average land holding is not more than 2 acres, and we have so many districts, so many villages, different agro-eco regions. Almost 100 agro sub-regions are there in the country, from desert to the coldest in the India, as well as the semi-arid tropics into the South India as such. So taking into this, we need to definitely have the technology which can reach to large number of small farm holders, and technology digital agriculture can bear. Currently, agriculture is managed in compartments. That is the basic problem we have, that we provide the piecemeal compartmental solutions to the farmers, and as a result, farmer is not able to adopt any agricultural improved practice because they are very crop specific, and one farmer grows 3 to 4 crops, plus he has the livestock, he has the poultry, plus he also works on the other things. So he or she cannot reach to so many service providers, and that's where we need the integrated solution. And basically, that's what we need, a behavioral change in the system to achieve the goal of sustainable agriculture. Otherwise, it is made a futile exercise, uh, only on the paper, and it doesn't reach to the farmers. Business as usual model won't. We need a holistic approach in place of compartmental approach. We need the science-led development so that modern technologies can help in subsistence agriculture to business model. Internet required in terms of modeling, big data, remote sensing, monitoring, evaluation and learning, water budgeting, drones, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth. But scaling up of any technology is very, very much required and critical for the development of rural areas in the country. A new proposition, that is building ownership along the value chain, is very much required. And that's where basically we need to transform the agriculture from sectoral to holistic, from subsistence agriculture. We need to have the marketable surplus. From productivity, we need to move to the profitability, and from vulnerability, we need to move to the sustainability, for which we have to have a consortium of service providers, consortium of knowledge developing institutes, as well as the supply chain, and as well as the input suppliers for the system, so that we can provide one-stop solution for our small farm holders. Because at the moment we are basically MSP, that is minimum support price supported agriculture, but not the market-led agriculture. As you know, the recent example, the tomatoes price went up to 200, 200 rupee 50 per kilogram, and the same tomato now, after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it will be 25 or 40 rupees kilo, because of the non-information about the market for the farmers, and that's where basically the market plays with the farmers at the prices. So the farmers' income, as our Prime Minister has envisaged, we need to increase the productivity with reducing the post-harvest loss, because almost 1/3 of the food what we produce is lost in the process of reaching to the consumers, and finally we reap the profits. And for that, there are two different chains we have to adopt for increasing the profitability. We need to reduce the cost of cultivation. We need to have the value addition through value chain, where the farmer producers organizations are helping to overcome the problems associated with the small farm holders. We need to have the market linkages and market-led production systems instead of minimum support price production system. We need to reduce the post-harvest losses and minimize the risk, and that all will enhance the profitability. But for increasing the productivity, we need to bridge the yield gaps, crop intensification. We need to undertake wherever the lands are available, moisture is available, like rice fallow areas. I am not sure with how many of you are aware that 3 years back, India used to import minimum 6 to 7 million tons of pulses. Today, India doesn't any pulses unless they have already the contracts with the governments outside the country. And that's where basically the rice fallows have been used very successfully for growing the pulses which are required because there is enough moisture after harvesting the rainy season rice crop, and that moisture can be enhanced, used for increasing the productivity or area of the pulses in the country. Crop diversification with value crops like high value crops like vegetables, what you have seen earlier, the or heard earlier, the things like uh, soilless culture, hydroponics, as well as the greenhouse cultivation and use of nutrients as well as the drip systems into the polyhouses and so forth, so that the temperature, humidity can be controlled, and then you can produce the particular crop throughout the year. There are a lot of government policies which are helping the farmers, and these policies should benefit the farmers, like doubling the farmers' income. Digitalization division has been created under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers here, reorienting information technology division following the doubling of farmers' income committee's recommendation, Aadhaar-based direct benefit transfer, opening the Jan Dhan accounts, Pradhan Mantri Bima Yojana, e-Naam, Kisan credit card, and so on and so forth, which are there in the slide, which you will be shared by the organizers with you, and you can have the updated knowledge about that. We need better, faster, and cheaper delivery through digital agriculture. And for that, basically, one has to adopt a particular technology to transform the agriculture in India, what we call need Mission India to transform agriculture, that is MITRA, subsistence to a business model, science-led knowledge intensive, mechanization, efficient use of resources, climate smart, because there are impacts of climate change which are resulting into more desertification of the land as well as the degradation of the land, and that's where we need the climate smart agriculture. Market-led diversification instead of MSP-based production, value chain approach that the cooperatives should follow the initial value chains, at least for grading, packaging, etc., so that the benefits shared with the members of the community and need to support farmers through the digital agriculture. We need to co-create the solutions. Small farm holders demand the best at affordable price. And that's where basically the startups need to really work on to ensure tangible benefits, highest probability of success of the introduced technology, need to build the trust with the farmers, a lean organization, harness partnerships, need to learn to co-op farmers and institutions. As you know, collaborative capacity is far, far bigger than the investment capacity. Knowledge is far more competitive as well as having the ability to collaborate than the financial capacity of the particular organization. And we need to bring together the farmers, the women self-help groups, youths, SMEs, as well as the researchers and the government departments together to innovate the hybrid solutions. Our challenges basically are the water scarcity, in, impacts of climate change, increasing the land degradation, as the previous speaker has highlighted. We need to address the issue of malnutrition in the country, as well as low incomes, the income disparity in the rural areas and the urban areas need to be addressed. And of course, food security. India is free from absolute poverty, but still there is hunger in India where about 14% of the population does not uh, get assured that meals in their day. We have planetary boundaries in the world which we need to work, and the emphasis what our current Prime Minister is giving on Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is one world, one family, is the approach basically where the planetary boundaries we have to manage. And we have already crossed the boundaries in terms of nitrogen cycle, as well as biodiversity loss and climate change. And then these boundaries, once they go out, adverse impact as we are finding it. To look into India as such, for any change in the climate, you need to take into account 30 years of climate before and after. And here we have looked at 1971 to 1990 and 1991 to 2004, and we see that aridity in the 1991 to 2004 has increased, and semi-arid trophic areas are increased almost 0.45 million hectares in Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, UP, Karnataka, and Punjab. And basically, overall area of 3.45 million hectares is added to the semi-arid tropics, because there are areas from semi-arid tropic which have become arid, and that's how the number is decreased in this case of 8.45 million hectares. Dryness and wetness are increasing in different parts of the country in the place of moderate climates existing earlier in these regions. I am not sure how many of you are aware that ecosystem of agriculture, there is a paper published by the Ministry of Agriculture Cooperation as such, which talk about what is required for the Indian agriculture. A digital ecosystem is distributed, adaptive, and open technical system. It doesn't expect anything to be in a close where no one can touch it, and you have your right on that. That type of system is not expected by the government of India. Uh, Scalability is important. Sustainability address the issues of constraints faced by the farmers. And that's where basically government of India is talking about Pradhan Mantri Sinchai Yojana. That's where the Water Resources Ministry has been converted into uh, integrated ministry of drinking water, as well as the wastewater and the agriculture water, where the Pradhan Mantri Sinchai Yojana is also put it under Jal Shakti ministry as such. The agriculture value chain extends from crop variety selection and crop management. So if you are trying to play space, in that case, you need to link downward as well as upward, so that you become the integral part of the system. It involves basically public as well as the government, private systems, and we need to establish the ecosystem, take a long-term view of aspects like interoperability, data governance, data quality, data standards, data security, and privacy, besides promoting open innovations. Need decentralized federated agriculture, because, as you know, in the country, agriculture is a state subject, and central government has very limited role to play. So we need basically plug in, plug out model for this sort of digital agriculture as such. IDEA proposes to build a national digital agriculture system to elevate Indian agriculture sector to higher levels of efficiency and productivity, to improve the welfare of and income of farmers. IDEA principles ecosystem thinking, what we were discussing earlier, building block approach, open API based, open and open national portability, participatory design, and promote innovations. IDEA is proposed to be implemented on a mission mode by establishing a national mission on digital agriculture with a dedicated team of experts at the government level. Adoption of holistic ecosystem approach to address the multiple challenges faced by the agriculture sector is of national importance to fulfill the aspirations like doubling farmers' income and achieving the SDGs, a multi-stakeholder approach is essential with government enabler of the ecosystem rather than acting as a builder of digital systems. That means there is enough scope for the SMEs in, but only thing you need to be a part of the system rather than thinking of developing the independent one. There are smart villages, which you are aware. I will not go into the details of that, where a lot of gram panchayats are linked with the internet, and lot of digitization work of land parcels is being done by different states. Digital payment system is world famous, as you know, and basically that's what basically we need to promote the digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, reducing the access by marginalized groups as such in the thing. We need to adopt agroecology based farming instead of MSP based farming. We need to produce more food with fewer resources because water and land are becoming constrained for the country. We are already number one in the population with 1.4 billion population in the country. We have overtaken China, and we have the largest land in the world, and we have the varying climate with 100 agro-ecosystem regions, and that's where basically we should build our strength and harness it. And that's what government of India has already started enhancing the MSPs of the crops which need the less water than the rice and wheat. And that's why during 2023 we have International Year of Millets, which are promoting the millets which can come up in this smaller time, about 75 to 90 days. Uh, Millets you get, sorghum you can get up to 110, 120 days, and that's where good for health, good planet, good for the farmers, good for the population as such. We need diversification because, as you know, that the incomes are increasing, the choices also are changing. Many more people are getting the fruits and vegetables as such, and that's where we need to produce. So, co-creation of solutions, basically, we have already talked about it, and for that, we need to adopt the four ISEX approach to manage the agriculture as such. It should be integrated approach, it should be inclusive stakeholders, impact-oriented implementation, and innovative approach. It should be sustainable, it should be science-based, socially acceptable, and scalable. And it should be consortium approach so that we can build the partnerships through public-private, people-centric partnerships, convergence of water sector schemes and policies instead of compartmental approach. Already government is trying that, but we need to be having the impact on the bottom of the pyramid also. Cooperation of all stakeholders through collectivization, because we have small farm holders who are exploited by the big players like market players, and that's where the role of FPOs comes in, who have better negotiating power, and that's where they can have the direct purchase for the inputs from the providers or the producers, as well as they can be good sellers for the market for the supply chains as such. Capacity building is very important, and we need efficiency, environmental protection, ensuring economic gain, and equity must be ensured through this. So digital agriculture, basically, as you all are experts in this, spatial data infrastructure, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, mobiles, Internet of Things, drones, and remote sensing, image processing, advanced analytics, machine learning, and basically ICT will be the major conduit for that. We need to collect the data from 145 million farmers. So it should be mobile data. Geotagging of the farm should be done. It should be with the proper data of farmer's name, survey village, taluk, district, state, type of soil, water resources, and so on and so forth. And all that data can be done through the mobile data collection. And basically, that's where, and we need to use the open data kits as such for collecting as well as aggregating. So if we have to have looking at the role of startups in digitization of Indian agriculture, it is very critical to understand Indian agriculture first, which is very complex and demands simple solutions. So you need to definitely have a agricultural expert in your team, understand the problems and put them in the right context. Many times we think that IT, we can provide all the solutions, but that is a myth and that cannot happen for any discipline. Even in agriculture, we need to understand other disciplines like crop production, soil fertility management, water management, insect management, so on and so forth. And as already told that India has already surpassed China, we were expected to be number one in 2027, but we in 2023 we are already number one. And that's where basically we need to ensure that the global population by 2025 will be concentrated in just 8 countries in Asia, including India, Pakistan, Philippines, Africa, China, etc. Agriculture provides the livelihood to, as we have already discussed, and during COVID-19 pandemic, it was the only sector which showed the positive growth. Green shoots were seen only in agriculture sector than any of the service sector or industrial sectors as such. And that's where ensuring food and nutrition security for the growing population, which is estimated to be 1.7 billion by 2050, remains a challenge because 55% of agriculture is rain-fed. Semi-arid areas are increasing because of impacts of the climate change are increasing, and India is among the largest producers of several agricultural products. However, our productivity is nowhere near the optimum or average yield of the world in the country, in the world. So that there is a huge scope for us for agriculture to be a growth engine, not for only for the development of the world as such. And we can use the digital agriculture in monitoring, evaluation, and learning framework through data collection, reporting, knowledge sharing, and look at the agriculture impact as such. As we were saying, India is the largest producer of pulses, milk, tea, spices, cashew, and jute, and is the second producer of rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables, sugarcane, cotton, and oilseeds. More than 100 crops are grown, and we have more than 60 soil types out of 100 soil types which are there in the world. 100 agro-subregions in 28 states, 9 union territories, 687 districts, and more than 600,000 villages. Uh, it is almost 6 million villages and 145 million farm holders. Considering the vast canvas of agriculture for soils, weather, agroecosystem research, sub-regions, water availability, water quality, market links, institutions, and so on, data collection, sanitization, harmonization, and security. And that's what basically every MSME need to look at, that what is your arena which you want to enter into, and then that arena should be covered appropriately for all these things. To check the quality of the data before getting onto the unified platform for the country, state, district, taluka, block, mandal, and village level is a daunting challenge. There are hundreds of platforms providing compartmental solutions to the farmers at present. However, impact on the ground as farmers need holistic solutions for their complex problems. There is an urgent, reliable, dynamic, and integrated platform as NVIDIA under the project idea for authentic solutions for farmers. To meet the need of transforming Indian agriculture, there is an urgent need to develop a novel, scalable business model, keeping apart our inhibitions, egos, individual expertise, and superiority. Basically, with 46 of the 60 soil types in the world. We have a great potential. We have 20 agroclimatic zones with 80 agro-eco subregions, varying from to humid tropics, hot arid deserts, and varying average rainfall as high as 11,870 millimeter at Mosaram in Meghalaya to as low as 160 millimeter at Jaisalmer. We are having the highest rainfall in the world at the place in Meghalaya, and the 1.4 billion plus population, we can be a powerhouse not only for our country but also for the world. And then agriculture is the adaptive solution are very much required. Is at the nexus of three of the greatest challenges of the 21st century, such as water, energy, and land to achieve and sustain food and nutritional security. As far as energy is concerned, you are well aware, India is doing its job quite well. India is the only country out of G20 which has met its commitment for the climate change impacts. And you know that solar energy, wind energy, biofuels, hydrogen energy being used for the transportation and other things, basically. And our meeting the food demand for the growing population in tropical India with limited arable land and water resources is a challenge during the 21st century. During 2011 census, India and deficient nations. We have almost something like 900 cubic meters per person at the moment. And once the country goes below 1700, then it is water stress. And as you know, by 2025, one third of India will have physical scarcity of water. Whatever we do, and India should not have the water problem because our average rainfall is around 1100 millimeter. It is sheer mismanagement of water resources because of which we are water scarce country as such. And that's where the management of water is very important. We need to look at the existing area and the value pyramid of crops in India. And you see that maximum value comes from horticultural sector, but horticulture is only 12%. And that's where basically we need to look at this sort of market-led diversification, agriculture, so that more things can be produced what market needs rather than we produce what minimum support price supports like rice and wheat, which are water guzzling crops. They are not good for the health because of high glycemic index, and millets, which are drought tolerant, short duration, low glycemic index, more fiber, good for health. Those are the ones which we need to promote along with the fruits and vegetables. Managing reliable data challenge in the country because what government, you just look at the number of villages, the same the different numbers for the different schemes, and that's where basically harmonization of data is very much required because 2011 census, the number of villages is 6,49,481. But under MGNRA considers villages distinct entities. But the drinking water and sanitation indicates 6,08,000 villages. And that's where you find that different schemes under the same ministry use different numbers. Starting number of villages, more complexities are on hand when we consider farmlands owned by 147 million farmers. In several states, land records need to be correctly digitized. As you know, Telangana has started the Bhumi, but there are so many problems of ownership on the land. The people have not been shown as the inheritance from the family members who are not there, and those sort of things need to be corrected. And there is a need of reliable and harmonized data for all parameters. Technologies like remote sensing, geotagging of farms, simulation modeling, information technology need to be used along with the physical, demographic, meteorological data. Most important is the human resource data. What is required is skill mapping and digitizing human resource data at national level will go a long way. As you know, during the COVID-19, whatever the labor force from different states returned back to Uttar Pradesh, the government has done all digitization of their expertise and then provided that data to the companies in the UP and said that you should hire these people is bringing the people from other areas, and that's where basically it needs to be looked at that is now expertise. Indian farmers seek holistic and integrated solutions, and we need to develop primary sector, that is agriculture and allied sector, which includes agriculture, horticulture, livestock, rural livelihoods, productivity enhancement, value chain development, post-harvest technologies, extension system, credits, insurance, and so on and so forth. And on each one, agriculture, livestock, there are a number of different and livestocks which we look. We have discussed about 4 I6 strategy, what is needed to be done, identify what is needed to satisfy and benefit the farmers, identify the expertise needed to provide solutions. We need all the farmers with all the details, including the bank and other details with ownership of farms, animals, and sources of income. Geotagging, traceability, details of inputs needed, value chains, soils and water status, meteorological data, details of FPOs, self-help groups, and common interest groups, list of willing input suppliers, pricing, ensuring quality and timely lines of delivery, marketing channels for the sale of farm produce, infrastructure, package of practices, schemes, and other applications of government. We ready to work with state and central government. Without government, we cannot really achieve the progress or on the ground. Identify the state which is receptive to the idea of providing digital solutions to the farmers. Work with them. Way forward for future for food security. Small farms operated by both men and women will play a big role in feeding the world in future. Relevant management practices to be developed. Assisting women farmers is an effective way to reduce poverty and enhance food security. Encouraging and healthy diets and discouraging excessive food consumption. Diet diversification will reduce the water footprint of present day foods, an integrated approach to be followed for sustainable food future. As you know that we have 14% people who have no secure food, but at the same time, 70% population in India is obese. They consume more foods, more junk food than what they can take. And that's where basically we need to have this sort of weather, soil health, water manager, weather-based agro advisory, diagnostic tools, best practices, communications, market opportunities, knowledge banks, remote sensing and GIS along with that. Land in the cloud, the government of Karnataka has already done under the World Bank project, and they are able to show that it can farmers as well as the government for monitoring the different schemes as such, and that's where we need to do that. We need to be behave as a central nodal organization rather than thinking that I will be able to provide the solutions to the whole world. Link stakeholders and create a new ecosystem. Build partnerships through consortium formation. Be a facilitator and provide the framework and access and influence without ownership are important while maintaining quality, mutual obligations, commitment to contractual relationships, and shared set of values. Impact at the bottom of the pyramids is important because, as you know, majority of the farmers, 85% of the farmers are small and medium-sized farmers who are holding not more than 1 hectare of land. And we need to ignite the transformation. We need to ensure that who is important, what is important, get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. Don't carry the people on your shoulder. Right people in the right seats, and they will figure out where to drive. Have unwavering faith that you can and will succeed. Culture of discipline is important because disciplined people don't need the hierarchy. Disciplined thought, no need to have bureaucracy. Disciplined action, no need to have excessive controls. Combined culture of discipline with entrepreneurship create performance and get the magical alchemy of performance. The tipping point and continued push, but not a planned restricting technologies or a killer innovation should be to have our core values for the group like farmers first, partnerships, timely delivery, quality outputs, and impact. Dare to win, must win mindset through dedication, agility, resilience, and efficiency. Good emotional rapport with the commitment, clarify the expectations, show personal integrity, admit mistakes if you do, and for expanding the positivity, basically we need to have magnanimous and anticipated leadership, visionary and not imposing, good teacher without favoritism and terrorize people in the team, able to harness strengths of the team members, tactical to grasp the issues, ability to convince different stakeholders, courageous and able to absorb the shocks, excellence in science recognized amongst the peer policymakers, not a blind follower but a dynamic and independent thinker. And we need to have good writing and spoken speech to mobilize resources. And if we have to win the game, then we must adopt the business approach, be affirmative in your actions, keep passion high, surround yourself with big ideas. Don't pass on your fears to the team members. Get what you want while love what you have. Take personal responsibility. And if you do this, then basically you can uh, read this and then so many wheels have to work together so that farmers income can be achieved. So we can transform the life of farmers through scaling up science, led value chains using big data and cloud computing. Thank you very much.